Here we go.
All right.
Good morning. This is Howard Owens, publisher of the Batavian. We have another live stream interview this morning, this time with Jeff Allen, Executive Director of Crossroads House. So, good morning, Jeff. How you doing?
Good, Howard. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to the community on this.
That's great. So you were going to give us an update of what's going on with Crossroads House at this point.
Sure. At this time, Crossroads House has made the decision to take a temporary pause in our resident care activities. We don't have any residents currently, and we are not going to be admitting any residents until this health situation kind of improves. It was a difficult decision because our volunteers, our staff, they're passionate about providing care for the terminally ill, but at the end of the day, we have to join the community in the recommended practices, the safe distancing. And the reality is that, a lot of our volunteers are in that vulnerable population. A typical week has 50 to 60 volunteers coming in and out of the house. And when you add in residents' families, loved ones, and staff, it's not unusual to have up to 100 to 150 different people in and out of the house in a week. And that just is not conducive with the current recommendations. So for the safety of our residents, their families, our volunteers, and our staff, we made that decision to temporarily pause our resident care activities here at Crossroads House.
What activities are you still engaged in?
Okay, well, the house is we're not closed. Like I said, we've just stopped our resident care operations temporarily, but we have set up an on-call availability for all the people in our referral book. We currently have 7 referrals in our book for an open bed when we resume our activities. Our assessment team is in contact with them, and they have phone numbers that the families of these referrals can call at any time, and we can be of guidance and support while they're at home taking care of their family members, or where their family members are in an institution. Just yesterday, as a matter of fact, Kathy, our founder and director of resident care, who is dealing with one of our referrals, was able to film the proper procedures for changing a bed with a person in it, using all of our resources here, and then email that to the referral so that they can take care of their loved one at home. Our Nicole, one of our assessment nurses, is currently on for the next 2 weeks, providing this on-call service. She's reached out to each of our referrals and just let them know that if you need guidance, if you need any supplies, we're making available all of our home care supplies to the families that need them. We'll drop them off, practicing our safe distancing, but just to be a resource to those that have already reached out to and are continuing to reach out to Crossroads House. We still are taking referrals so that we are ready when we resume resident care operations. So if there's anybody out there who wants to refer their loved one, family member to Crossroads House, you can just give us a call at 343-3892. And Kathy, our Director of Resident Care, will get back to you and at least start the process so that when we do resume our resident care operations, we can move rather quickly.
So what other kind of support at this point do you need from the community? What support do you need from us?
Well, we're really taking the view that this is our opportunity to give back to the community. When we resume operations, there are going to be some things that we're going to need, but right now we want to focus on the organizations, the hospitals that have immediate needs. One of the things that we did is we went through our inventory of home care supplies, the adult undergarments, the disposable underpads, the Chucks pads, and we have reached out through Genesee County Interagency and made those supplies available, or excess supplies, for anyone in the community who has a need or can't get those supplies. We can provide them if they go through their agency representative, and we'll contact Crossroads House and we'll arrange to get those supplies to people in need during this. We've been blessed with a lot of these supplies, and now's the time to give back to the community that way.
There's also an event coming up that you didn't know about. Somebody else organized.
Correct, correct. Bruce Schofield's been a big supporter of Crossroads House for many, many years, and Bruce can reach out into his network and make things happen rather quickly. And he decided he wanted to do what he's calling the Corona Convoy. And that's going to take place this Sunday. It's going to start on Route 5 in Stafford. It's for commercial trucks, farmers, businesses, and the big rigs. And there's going to be a convoy starting in Stafford, kind of weaving through Genesee County in support of the truckers and the farmers and those hardworking people that are really supporting everyone, keeping the supply chain moving through this health situation. And Bruce wanted to recognize that, and he's just, he put together a thing where when you show up in your truck, you don't even have to get out of your truck. They're going to have a bucket, and they're just asking anybody to make a small donation to Crossroads House. We will be in the convoy. The Crossroads House van will be the second behind Bruce's truck. There's going to be dump trucks. There's going to be waste trucks. There's going to be big rigs, and we're just going to circle through Genesee County. Law enforcement is on board. They're working with Bruce to do traffic control, and it's just a great way to get people to support the truckers and the hardworking blue collar guys that are out there carrying us through this situation. So when the convoy comes through on Sunday, step outside, give us a wave, give us a beep, and show your support for all the hardworking truckers and blue collar guys that are carrying all of us.
Well, that sounds great. So, Jeff, one thing I thought maybe we could talk about, given your background, your training in disaster relief and crisis management sort of thing, what advice do you have for us as a community?
Well, obviously, the first thing is to remain calm. These times are no times for panic. I think back to 9/11, and encouragement is a huge thing. And when you're encouraging people, encouragement has a physical advantage to it. And one story that always comes to my mind about encouraging people who are working hard through these crises, and I think of our frontline people, our hospital workers, our first responders, was the first time I got down to ground zero after 9/11, and we approached what they called the pile at the time. It was still 14 stories of the smoldering debris from the collapsed towers. And you had all the halogen lights in the background, and it really looked like something out of a movie scene because you had the smoke, and you had a group of firefighters who were coming off shift. And there was only one way in and out of ground zero at that point. And these guys come with all that background, and it literally looked like the scene from Armageddon. They're walking slowly across there. These guys were wiped out physically. They didn't have another ounce of energy in them. But yet when they came out of that exit, both of the exits were lined with people that were just chanting them on, running out with water bottles, chanting USA, USA, and you could just see these guys literally come back to life. And you would have thought they could have ran back on the pile and done another 24 hours. I think as a community, we just need to be doing that. We need to be encouraging our frontline people, our hospital workers, our first responders, our law enforcement, those that are on the front lines of this crisis. These are the things that really bring a community together. One other thing that comes to my mind when I was over in Thailand for the tsunami, and we were working in the morgue, we had 31 countries that were represented there that had tourists that are lost in Phuket, Thailand. And what we had to do was bring the bodies out in body bags and have the 31 countries all come together and decide what nationality this person was, and then repatriate them to their proper country. And after a while, when you're doing body after body, it became kind of just work as opposed to something else, until a very small body bag came out, and it was a child. And I recall at that moment that everything stopped, and there was no longer 31 countries representing there doing a job. There was just a group of human beings collectively pondering the fact that a child was lost in the tsunami. And it was just a really, really powerful moment to see all those different cultures, all those different faiths that were represented were one in the death of a child. And I think that this virus, this situation represents that one common thing that this pandemic has gone global. It knows no bounds. It knows no color. It knows no race. It knows no nationality. It knows no political affiliation. We are one in this, and to go through this in a community like Genesee County is just, it's really uplifting because we represent that. This county is just terrific in coming together, praying for one another, getting out and supporting our local businesses. The response to this has just been amazing, and it really, really pinpoints why we're such a great community to live and to do business in.
I agree. I think I'm seeing that too. There is a lot of people pulling together and helping each other and understanding the importance of supporting each other and supporting our local businesses. So that's good to see. Any advice for kind of individual response or thought, or how people should be dealing with the stress of this?
I think the most important thing, and I think Pastor Marty talked about this when you had him on the other day, step away from the news. Just focus on family, on staying well. You pray for those that are dealing with immediate consequences of the health crisis. Pray for those that are on the front lines, working in the hospitals, our first responders. Pray for our local businesses. They're doing a great job. Crossroads House is just like everybody else. We've had to reduce our staff. We work on a skeleton crew at times. So just support those local businesses. Pray for everybody, and we're going to get through this. We're all in this together. It's a hashtag that gets used all the time, but it's spot on.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Is there anything else you wanted to add this morning?
No, we're just we've got a few staff here that are kind of sprucing up the house. It's going to be a different look when we resume our normal operations. A few months ago, Paul Chmielewicz from Chmielewicz Painting donated a whole bunch of paint to us. We've gotten the opportunity to use it. Our resident rooms are going to be totally redone, and it's going to be a really nice atmosphere for our residents when we resume our operations.
Well, that's good to hear. I appreciate your time, Jeff, and thanks for filling us in on things.
Absolutely. Thank you, Howard. We appreciate the opportunity. We appreciate that you're keeping the community involved and informed.
Well, thank you very much. Yep. So this is Howard Owens, publisher of the Batavian. We've been talking to Jeff Allen, director of Crossroads House. We appreciate him filling us in on changes in operations there. And we'll be keeping you updated throughout the day of news that's going on related to coronavirus. Everybody take care.